Okay. Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, we're going to talk about redesigning the sunny part of our garden here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Zone 7B. I typically would prefer to integrate the edible plants that we grow, you know, the cool season vegetables, some of which I'm pulling out now and some of which is being planted back in this space. It's March now. We showed some seed starting of our lettuce, which is in this tray a few weeks back. It's going in today, right here before the middle of March. And then this is the space where we grow our summer vegetables as well. But the way we had kind of designed this for the first couple of seasons is we just had a rectangle right here boxed in, and all the vegetables, you know, were here, and there was no, you know, we had our dahlias right here next to it and the herbs along the front of the space. And it looked okay. It's been okay, but it just seemed like this was just not actually part of the garden. And we wanted to make it feel like it was more part of the garden. So rather than having, these are cattle panels back here, we've had for the last few years just the cattle panels running this direction. And so our tomatoes, anything that needed to climbs on these cattle panels. So the idea this year is that we would just put them across here and out that direction. And so basically it's like a big hug of tomatoes and other climbing vegetables around the garden. And we're going to integrate a few shrubs and smaller growing things out here toward the front. It'll still be our herb garden out in the front. The cool season vegetables are going in right now. Tomatoes will go along these cattle panels and hopefully offer some shade to these cool season vegetables so we can keep them out here a little bit longer. But then peppers and all those things will go in here. You guys will see that on the channel, but really this was all about figuring out how to redesign this space to feel like it was part of the garden and not just like a vegetable garden, ornamental garden. This should allow us to, you know, just have the two blend right together. When we turn over annuals in this landscape, so initially this entire garden we put soil cube compost down on the entire garden, and then a lot of it had wood chips put over top of that. We waited some period of time and planted. Those ornamental spaces where perennials and shrubs and trees are, they won't get any new compost. They don't need it. The mulch breaking down, you know, they got everything they need over there. They're getting fertilized once a year. But our annual spaces, vegetable garden being one of those areas where we're growing annuals. We're trying to get as much out of this kale as we possibly can, and it's, you know, it's beautiful, but it's using nutrients, and so we will recompost this space in between turning over crops. Okay, same thing with our flowering annuals as well. So if we've got a ring around a turf or around the grass where we're using annuals and flipping them out season over season, like it's pansies right now, and then later in the season it'll be zinnias or whatever it's going to be. That's going to get some compost in between. This is a new soil cube, now has this vegetable mix. This humus looks fantastic. I haven't used it yet, but it really is a very good looking material. Again, I'm trying it for the first time. I've got their information linked down below. If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, I think are the three states they deliver in. But this entire garden was initially done with soil cube, and I've got one bag of vegetable mix, and I've got one bag of the regular soil cube compost. I'm going to use that regular one for the flowering annuals to refresh those beds, and I'm using the vegetable mix in the vegetable space over here. So this morning we're going to get our lettuce put in for the season. We have rabbits here, so I've got a deer fence that it's doubled over. It's only 3.5 feet tall, and it gets put around. Anytime we have these leafy greens out here, don't have to worry about it for the tomatoes as much, and during the summer, but this time of year when the cool season vegetables, the rabbits will just ravage them if we don't put that around after we plant. It's weird how a subtle change can really change something, but immediately it made this completely different. Another thing is the dahlias, which have been on this side of the vegetable garden, basically blocked the view of it, even if the garden did look good. The dahlias are this tall during the growing season. They're going to go on the back side of this, so they're going to block that chain link fence on the other side, and they'll have all the sun they need over there to get as tall as they want to. And we, because of the way we grow the dahlias over here, we always have to stake them, and the staking part of it doesn't look all that great. And so having them over here by the fence, we should be able to just tie them to the fence. We've still got broccoli and some bok choy and some kohlrabi to plant back here, and we've got a few herbs that we've also cool season herbs that we've got up, like parsley. That'll be planted out toward the front of the bed. We're going to try to not be super symmetrical back here, although the lettuce that that I just planted is very symmetrical. And the reason for that is we want to pin it in between some tomatoes and some taller growing things back here and see if we can extend the season on it this year. So it kind of needed to be in a space where we could do that. But everything else is going to go in kind of clusters, just like you would do your ornamental plants out in the landscape. And we're going to design with the vegetables as part of the design for this space. So you'll see there's some shrubs that are going to go in here, and again, I think this year will be much more integrated into the landscape. Some other projects we got to do back here for part of that as well. So, but there you go. The soil cube vegetable mix looks fantastic. And so I'm excited about that. I always have their stuff linked down at the bottom of the video. Again, if you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, or Georgia, it is a good product. They just deliver a cubic yard, in a bag. And you saw I just cut the top of the bag off to make it easy to get it out of the bag. And I used that small cart. That small cart was now linked down below in my Amazon links down at the bottom. That little cart, actually Steph found it on the side of the road in the neighborhood, and we used it nonstop ever since she found it. But okay, so excited about this. Just wanted to kind of show off that, sometimes you don't land on a design right off the bat. Sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes we looked at this for 2 years going, I just don't like it. It taking up this weird rectangle in the garden, and it just looks completely out of place with the rest of the ornamental landscaping, with the curves we have going on and everything. And then you just got this block that we had here. So here it is. Thank you guys for following along. Lots of seed starting going on, plants going in the ground, composting, annuals, new shrubs. Thanks for following along.